Joining us now, Pastor Darrell Scott, author of a new book, Nothing to Lose. He's also been kind of on the cutting edge here of what is going on with the police and the effort to defund them and other things that we really want to get his take. Pastor Darrell Scott, thanks for being with us, sir.
Thank you for having me.
You've had a few hearings. You've been testifying about what is going on in police departments today. Can you elaborate, sir?
Well, this idiotic effort by a faction of the left to defund the police, dismantle police departments, and basically do away with the police presence in America is something that is absolutely ludicrous, ridiculous, foolish, idiotic. I'm trying to think of some other terms to describe it. Police are our first line of defense against crime in this country. Police are those that we turn to when we're trying to prevent the criminal element from dominating society. So that entire effort, to me, was simply political in nature. It's the left's feeble attempts to garner votes in any way that they can. It's absolutely ludicrous. And so I was given an opportunity by Congressman Jim Jordan and others to speak on behalf of the conservative element regarding the defunding of police. And I tried to do it while being sensitive to the tragedies that did occur and some of the inequalities that do exist in our society without throwing the baby out with the bathwater, without condemning police as a whole. So, I try to navigate that fine line, and we'll see how it goes. But I think, what I've noticed?
What, Pastor?
And it's sad, but it's true. Since the shootings in Minneapolis the other night and the shooting in the Seattle Autonomous Zone and the protesting on last night and the tearing down statues, I haven't heard much about the defunding of the police anymore. This fresh outbreak of gun violence and whatever inside of these areas that called for the defunding of police, I don't hear it in Atlanta either, because the criminals are making their presence felt, and people are actually needing the police. I really found it ironic that when I heard the 911 call out of Minneapolis, and the 911 call, they were, where are the police? And we're calling, we need some police here. Oh, okay, we need police now. Okay, and so, I don't know, people are being too reactionary and, too momentary in their activities. And the things that the news that was dominating America 3-4 weeks ago is not even mentioned anymore. I'm sorry, but no one's even talking about George Floyd anymore. They've moved on to something else. And so I'm just hoping that this current state of unrest calms down. If not, I'm going to call the cops on them.
Pastor Darrell Scott, what do the protesters want? I mean, I tried to ask, I had the state senator Joe Morrissey on today. I'm in Richmond, own businesses here, riots, protests every night. I asked Democratic State Senator, what do they want? I mean, now they're just tearing down statues, defacing property, windows are boarded up, there's still looting going on, spray painting, everything being defaced. What do they want?
This is their 2020 method of election interference. They want chaos to prevail in America up to and through the November elections, similar to what it did in 2016. They had a lot of chaos and rioting and different things in 2016, and once the election was over, it calmed down, and it morphed into women with vagina hats on, screaming up in the air and different things like that. And so here we are again. It's election time, and they're back at this narrative of chaos and confusion leading into the election. The one thing they haven't been able to do that they want to do is somehow pin the source of these chaos and destruction, the source of these shootings. They want to be able to pin it on President Trump, and they have not been able to.
Why?
And so, because the Democrats, let me tell you something that's sad about this despicable Democratic Party of today. They hate Donald Trump so much, and they want power back so bad that if they have to destroy the country to get it, they will. I find it amusing how quiet Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi and Jerry Nadler and Adam Schiff and Maxine Waters and all these the national big mouths, the Lincoln Project boys, the George Conways, the Bill Crystals, they're all silent they're quiet as a church mouse in the face of these national events. They're quiet, but if Trump, but they got comments on how Trump drank some water, or Trump slipped on a step, or can I say something on here and y'all don't judge me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Go ahead.
If Trump blows a wet fart, they're going to be having a doggone national panel on CNN to analyze the fart. But meanwhile, excuse me for saying that. I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's funny.
But meanwhile, you have all this chaos and confusion every night, and it's even certain words they won't use. They want to give the appearance that these people are just exercising their American prerogative. It's chaos and anarchy.
And they want to say that it's a cross between a street festival and a commune.
Thank you. We had a group of backslidden, idiotic pastors here in Ohio, my home state, that requested Senator Rob Portman and Senator Sherrod Brown to censor the president because he walked across to St. John's Church and held up a Bible. They said it was blasphemous and unconstitutional. However, they are quiet about these anarchists, and I'm waiting to see what they're going to say about the fact that they went back over to their church. First of all, they were quiet about the church being set on fire. Now I want to see what they're going to say about the church being graffitied up last night, and they tried to even put the church into an autonomous zone. I want to hear what they have to say about that. But here you have a leader of the free world holding up a Bible in front of a church, and they had a problem with it.
Yeah. Unbelievable. We're with Pastor Darrell Scott from Ohio. He's been very involved in leading the effort not to defund the police. Let me just ask you this, Pastor Scott. Is it not the black community that suffers the most when law and order breaks down, sir?
In certain respects, yes, because in certain areas in the black community, you already have a high crime rate. There are a lot of factors that contribute to it, economic disadvantage, public housing, different things like that in the inner city. You already have a high crime rate. And so the absence of police simply makes the criminals bolder, and it enables them to flourish unchallenged in those areas. So, and the thing is this, you don't hear the black community en masse requesting for the police officers to be shut down, the police precincts to be shut down, and the police officers to be disbanded. You don't see that. What you see is those that are planted or who have infiltrated these protests, this criminal element, this sinister, nefarious element that has infiltrated the protests. They're endeavoring to be the mouthpiece of the protest, and they're making demands that the black community does not necessarily want. People in those areas are already aware of the high crime that exists and the lack of safety in certain respects. They already are aware of the danger that exists in certain of these communities after dark. They would like anything better than have more police presence, but there's an element that is using these riots and these protests as cover for their own sinister purposes. And so they're endeavoring to be the mouthpiece. Those are the ones, think about it, when the left-wing news requests somebody to talk, they don't want the people that say, we do want the police, we do like the police. They're not going to broadcast their comments. They want the ones that don't want the police. They want the ones that are in favor of anarchy and protest. Those are the ones that they're endeavoring to give a platform to.
Of course. I mean, that's really the issue. We're with Pastor Darrell Scott from Ohio. He's got a lot of things to say about the police, these protesters. Again, we've got violence now, property being destroyed. People are afraid for their businesses. Again, every night this is going on. Now we got another one of these autonomous zones forming in D.C. The mayor there, Mayor Bowser's not going to do anything. The police are told to stand down. They're taking over city blocks. What solves this? Like, what is it? Okay, like if you follow baseball, right? I'm a baseball fan. My son plays high school ball. Hopefully he's going to play in college. He's a really good ball player, works hard. So I understand the impasse of the MLB, right? One wants 70 games, the other wants 60 games. One doesn't want to take a pay cut, the other wants to prorate their salary back to 160 to 60 games. I get it. And so we might end up with no baseball, but I understand what both sides are fighting over. You know, I don't agree with the players. I think they should play the 70 games and shut up about it, but that's just me. But I get it. I look at these protesters knocking everything down, burning things down, and I'm like, what is it that you want? George Floyd, you've got justice. The other guy in Atlanta, you got justice. Okay, you're getting reforms. Trump signed an EO. There's going to be legislation. What do you want? Do you have any idea?
Yeah, they want, I don't know, anarchy. They want civil disorder. There's a scripture in the Bible that says, the second Psalm, why do the heathen rage and the wicked imagine vain things? And that word vain in that particular context means empty, worthless, useless. And this is where they are. They're raging and imagining vain things. When I look at it from a spiritual context, the Bible says in St. John chapter 10:10, the thief comes not but for to steal, kill, and destroy. And what he's saying is theft, destruction, and death is the activity of the devil. So I believe they're being used by the devil. But another thing is they want, once again, to cause chaos in this country, revolving around election time so that the left can assume power in this country to further their own sinister purpose.
Boom. There it is, Pastor. It took me 4 hours to get somebody to say, give me the answer. I've been on since 6 a.m. There it is. This is all about getting Trump out. The co-founder of Black Lives Matter the other day on MSNBC or whoever interviewed her, can't think of her name, they asked her the same thing. What do you want? And she said, at the end of the day, the number one objective that we have is to get Trump out, period. And then we'll go from there. So that's what they want. They want chaos in the streets. They want people afraid. And they want to say, hey, if I just get Trump out, this will all go away. Right? That's what they want.
Right. They want that. But they really don't even have a reason for that because they're not able to pin any of these so-called causes or reasons. They can't pin the George Floyd or the Rashad Brooks. They can't pin it on President Trump. And they've wanted him to say something so that it could at least justify their bad activity. And he hasn't said anything. And they want him to abstain from doing something. And he's done exactly the opposite. He's put out executive orders. He's had police reform. So he's beating them at their own game. And so, but you know what, when you ask me what the solution is, I really believe sometimes you meet force with greater force. And if they don't really want Donald Trump to handle this, because I'm in agreement with him, send that National Guard in and shut all this crap down. Send the National Guard in and shut it down. There used to be a cartoon on television years ago. I can't remember which one it was. And the one would say to the other, he said, don't go away mad, just go away. And that's the way I feel about those protesters.
Just go away. But look, I think you're right, Pastor. I think this is why the president signed the Monuments Act, or he's going to do that. And this is why I think Seattle and these other places should get cleaned out. You're going to take a short-term hit. All the media is going to go all over you. You know, your First Amendment rights, all this stuff. It's going to be a short-term hit. You're going to have to take it with the fake news. But average Americans are going to look at action and say, you know what, thank God this president went in there and cleaned this stuff up so I don't have to be concerned about taking my child for an ice cream. That's going to be the positive end of it. You can't have chaos in the streets. You can't have destruction of property, cops standing down. I've never seen anything like this in my life, and we're just allowing it to happen, and someone's got to do something. Pastor, I'm out of time. I want to thank you for being with us. Pastor Darrell Scott. Hey, don't forget, read his book. He's got a book that just came out.
It's pre-order. They can go to Amazon.com and pre-order it.
Cool, yeah, Amazon.com.
Until September, Amazon.com.
It's called Nothing to Lose, Amazon.com. Pastor, thanks for being with us. Thank you so much.
God bless you. Bye-bye.